Coming up a little bit later on, we're going to be talking about who were the stars of that great game tonight between Spain and Portugal. Mark Donaldson is going to join us as well. But of course, this is from Abbey Road. And Abbey Road was this week dug up by workmen. And people have been selling bits of the zebra crossing apparently on eBay, right?
Great lumps of tarmac are already appearing on eBay saying this was the original Abbey Road.
Yeah.
Quite amazing.
Incredible. I suppose you didn't pick any up yourself, by the way.
Well, if I'd have known, I'd have got over there,
You spent £3,000 buying some Beatles pens.
Well, I did, yeah.
Why don't you buy a piece of the rock, as they say?
Maybe you're right. The legacy of the Beatles will go on for 100 years, I'm telling you. It's quite amazing. And I suppose the main concern was that when they finished re-tarmacking the road, did they put the zebra crossing back in the same place?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming that's not the first time it's been a different zebra crossing. I mean, it hasn't been the same zebra crossing as one they walked on all these years, has it?
49 years ago.
No.
So
they must have redone it.
Maybe.
It's like the original signs. I mean, they haven't had the original signs on that road for such a long time.
No.
People just keep nicking the signs.
Well, exactly, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Let's talk to Richard Porter, though, who is from London Beatles Walks, because he will know why there are still so many people who are so fascinated with going to Abbey Road, having their picture taken.
Unbelievable.
I mean, because I, for a while, used to drive up and down there quite a lot.
That's right.
Because I was living in North London.
Sure.
And you still... Any time now you drive anywhere near the zebra crossing, you have to stop. And all these planks are walking backwards and forwards.
Well,
and
that's a bit unfair. I mean, they're Beatles fans from around the world. They come from Japan.
Yeah, no, but a lot of them don't understand that the zebra crossing is actually on a proper road where cars go backwards and forwards.
They think it's like a film set.
And they kind of stand there, and you go, all right, come on, take your picture, move on. But let's find out from Richard just how crazed people still are. Richard, a very good evening to you. Welcome.
Evening, hello.
Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Now, I hear your battery's not that great, so we'll try and not take up too much of your time.
Yeah, just been to a Trembling Wilburys concert, Travelling Wilburys tribute band in town at the moment. So,
very good, sounds good. Now, you may know the answer to this, you may not, but I presume that this actual zebra crossing has been dug up or resurfaced quite a few times since the original picture.
Yeah. It was panic the other day when it happened again. And it's at the end of Abbey Road. This has happens every few years.
Right.
You just have to relays the surface, but still in exactly the same place.
Yeah.
People say it's moved, but it hasn't. It's in exactly the same place it ever was.
No. Now, Rich, you're an expert on this, so you must know the history of the Abbey Road cover and the Abbey Road name for the record. It was originally going to be called Everest, wasn't it?
It was, named after the favourite brand of cigarettes.
Yeah.
By Jeff Emmerich, the Beatles recording engineer,
And it was going to be called Everest. They're going to take a picture of Everest, but they wanted one Beatle, and they nominated John Lennon to fly to Everest and pose at the mountain, and he said he didn't want to go. And
I think they wanted them all to go. They said, no way. Or words to that effect, I won't repeat on air.
Yeah. Yeah, they couldn't get on an aeroplane and fly to Everest. So apparently the photographer on the date said, well, you just have to take a picture of them. He said, all right. So he just asked them to cross the crossing. He took about 30 frames, and that's how Abbey Road became Abbey Road, is it?
Yeah, I think it's Ringo's idea to do that on the crossing, but Paul actually did a drawing of how he wanted it to look for them on the crossing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it worked, didn't it? Because it's now one of the most iconic album covers of all time. Did you pick up, Rich, as you're into Beatles walks? I don't know whether you ever do them in Liverpool, but did you read the other day that a coachload of people who visited Paul McCartney's boyhood home, now a National Trust building, got to his home, and Paul McCartney, for the first time in 54 years, was actually inside the building because he'd gone.
Right. He was doing carpool karaoke with James Corden in Liverpool.
That's right.
And he went to Penny Lane.
Yeah.
He was by the shelter in the middle of the roundabout.
Yeah.
He went to his old home. And the statues of the Beatles on the pier head. Yeah.
And as the coach drove up...
They just assumed he was living there, didn't they?
No, the guy said, this is the home of Paul McCartney. He came to the window and he waved to the people in the coach.
But he was playing Hey Jude or When I'm 64 or something, and they thought this is a regular occurrence, right?
That's right. There's a guy taking pictures in Penny Lane by the barber shop.
Yes.
Paul just snuck up behind him and said, hello, I'm Paul McCartney. The guy probably had a heart attack at that point.
Sure.
Apparently he goes to the Wirral quite a lot, though, because he bought his old man a house there, didn't he?
Well, his brother still lives there, I think.
He's got a home there, Rembrandt.
Mike McGee?
Owned by his father, but he bought it. Paul bought it. And Mike still lives in Liverpool as well, yeah.
Really? That's absolutely amazing, isn't it? But anyway, have you put in a bid for a piece of Abbey Road tarmac on eBay yet, Rich?
I got a bit.
Sorry?
You did get a bit, did you?
I took a bit.
Oh, you took a bit, did you? Yeah, well, good for you.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? I mean, it is legendary.
It was just by the side of the road. Everyone was taking it. I thought, well, why not?
Yeah, why not have a bit?
You
Yeah.
couldn't cross the crossing that day, so I took a bit, yeah.
Yeah, well, good man. My colleague here in this studio, Mike Graham, used to live in that part of the world, and once on his way to school saw a big white coach-built Rolls-Royce. Was it, Mike?
It was like the old long bonnet version of, like, it was a Silver Cloud, I think it was.
Yeah.
It's a moped mugger behind you, is it? For heaven's sake, keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
They used to have a house, you know, between Abbey Road and Lords, basically. There's that stretch of road where there's big houses on the left-hand side, and the big gates opened up, and they were sort of quite tall, about 6-7 foot high. This white Rolls-Royce pulled out, and Paul McCartney and John Lennon were in it, and they pulled into traffic right in front of me and my sister, who were being driven to school by my mother. I must have been about 7 or 8, so it was around about 1967 or something like that.
Yeah.
And Lennon was wearing the white suit and everything. I mean, it was amazing, quite remarkable.
Right.
It is. A moment in history.
Yeah, absolutely right. So how many
Paul
people
McCartney
would you
still
say...
lives there.
Sorry?
Paul McCartney still lives in Cavendish Avenue.
Oh, he still
really?
lives there, does he?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's a slightly different house, actually. The one I'm talking about is on, effectively, what Abbey Road becomes once it goes past the War Memorial, you know, on the way down to Lisson Grove. It was an apple house. It had apple on the outside of it.
Oh,
how many people would you say, Richard... Oh, I think he's gone. I was going to ask him how many people he walks through the old London Beatles walks, but I think his phone battery's died.
Battery's gone. Well,
never mind. We'll never know the answer to that.
We'll never know the answer to that one, but I'm sure it's tens of thousands a year.
Well, I would imagine so, yeah. Now, what about another...
And in the end, the love you take